Hey, thank you everyone for coming on today to this amazing podcast. I'm so excited for my next guest. So, Nitya is a highly skilled and accomplished ServiceNow architect and implementation specialist. Now, she has got over 15 years experience, and that 12 years of experience in the service management ecosystem. Now, she shares a vision of revolutionizing how organizations manage their services, streamline workflows, and enhance user experiences. Over the years, she has had the privilege of designing intricate solutions, optimizing processes, and collaborating with brilliant minds across a number of different industries. So thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you for having me, Farah.
Oh, that's wonderful. So look, for many people that don't know you, you're based in the US, you're based in the States. Could you just share a little bit about your background journey, how you first got introduced to ServiceNow, and how you've achieved such great success to be in the position you are today?
So, right out of college, my first project was for field service management, and it was for biomedical engineers. They were using Palm OS, remember, before the iPhones hit the market. PDA, that's what we used to call them.
Nice.
Yes, and I was working on Clarify. It's a very old technology. That was my first customer. And I was basically considered not a Clarify expert. I knew Clarify, how to work with that. And my next customer was an energy-based customer here in Atlanta. And they were also in Clarify. And they were moving from Clarify to ServiceNow. And I was supposed to be this, and they were using Clarify for like 15, 20 years, and most of them didn't know what was happening, the functionality. So my job was to look under the hood, check what's happening, and help with the ServiceNow migration. And that's when I saw this new SaaS product, and I was enthralled by this, how fast it was able to customize, how easy it was, how flexible it was. It was almost like, I'm quite a romantic, so I would say love at first configuration is like, that was easy, because it was such a chore to create a new form or a field in Clarify. And here I could do that within literally in 30 minutes. I could build up a form, have a quick demo to customer. And the best part was the customer is asking something and I do it and show it and they're like, oh, you did it. And that I was like, wow. So obviously I started as a developer and then I moved on to mid-senior to architect and to my current position, which is solution architect, where I look at the business as a whole and provide solution and services which provide business value or improve your value to business.
That's incredible. And, like, obviously you've had quite a journey, from go developer to architect to the role that you're in now, some will call it like a evangelist, where you are, really at that kind of senior top kind of like level. So like, what's been like the mindset that you've had to take, to kind of travel up that career path for you, do you think?
Curiosity. I have one word for that because I've always been a curious person, and more so in my career, job and things I enjoy. Other things I just black out, but curiosity is the key. Like in the beginning, I was very excited about what I was doing, this particular module, and then I was got excited by the other modules in ServiceNow, other features in ServiceNow. But then, as my career progressed, I got to see what the customer's doing. Hey, what are they doing? How are they performing their day-to-day business? For example, we think of investing software, investing in the stock market, right? But we don't know what's happening in the back, what happens behind the scenes. But I got the privilege of working with one such customer in my past, and I was exposed to one of their compliance processes, and I had to create a custom application for them in ServiceNow. And that's when I realized, hey, I started asking questions and they started coming out like, this is why we need them. I'm like, why do you do this? I'm like, why? Right. And that questions, why are they doing this? You are creating this form. Why are they using that form? For what is the business value that they bring in to their organization? And that's got me thinking, hey, investing, we just try to invest in some stock. It's not that simple. There are so many things that are happening in the back. And that curiosity is what got me from just working on that single story to right now looking at the business as a whole, or even market. What are the market needs? How service management can help bring value to the businesses across the industry. Healthcare, hey, because healthcare, you look at it differently. Whereas, entertainment industry or hospitality industry, everyone is different. And curiosity has brought me from there to here.
Yeah, I love that. I absolutely love that. It's because, you're so right. It's having that trait of being curious. You learn so much starters, but then also it's like, that's how like the world evolves, right? If we don't ask questions, if we're not curious, how are we going to like come up with brilliant new ideas to kind of go, well, okay, that's a great way of doing it, but actually, let's try this. And yeah, I love that. I love that. I think that's a trait that they should really teach in schools and colleges everywhere, that, it's all about not being afraid to be curious, because that's
Not
sometimes the thing, right?
asking
Yeah.
questions, raising your hand and saying, hey, what does it mean?
Yeah.
And it's sometimes, don't feel stupid asking questions is what, not, there's
Yeah.
no wrong questions is what I always encourage.
Mm.
And sometimes talking to a customer, they'll just throw some acronyms and like, excuse me, what does it mean? It's always good to know.
Yeah.
And that will start a different conversation, and you will learn so much.
Yeah.
It's when people are afraid, hey, if I ask questions, would I look stupid? Leave that away. Curious, ask
Yeah.
questions.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. 100% agree. Like, even for me, like, my station as a recruiter, it's like we ask so many questions, and it's not that we're being nosy. It's like we want to learn as well, and we want to understand, because then we
Exactly.
can find you the right person. So yeah, and I love that. And what I really love is the fact that you had that confidence in you to kind of say, look, don't worry about anything, and not feeling like, oh, I shouldn't ask that, or I should already know that, right? So I think
Mm.
that's great advice to give anybody. So yeah, I love that. Like, also on top of that, it's like you have to be kind of resilient as well. Like, because like everyone's careers are like ups and downs. There's the good days, there's the bad days. How do you develop like resilience, like to make sure that you keep going and stuff?
So you were right, Farad. There are ups, there are downs. Some are public, some are very private, of course. And everyone struggles. It could be some as simple as struggling on a piece of code for hours together. I'll give you an example. So this was my first project, and this was I think I was coding back in when VB.NET or .NET, technologies were
Yeah, like
all
the
the rage. And
yeah,
this was back when we didn't have
2005, 2006.
yes,
Yeah,
yes, 2008.
yeah,
Yes, that's what when.
yeah.
So this was way back when we didn't have laptops. We had to actually go to an office with desktops and type. So what happened was, I was Monday. I had to turn in for UAT, turn in my work for the UAT to start, and I was stuck in this one form submission, which was very simple, right? And it's not working. And struggling till late Friday, and then I'm like, you know what? I have to go back home. It's not so I traveled back. This was when I was in India. So I obviously traveled. I had to travel 1 hour to go back home. And then I'm stuck in my head. I come back on Saturday. I spend the whole day, not whole day, almost whole day. And then I realized it was because of a mistake that my mom has always reminded me all my life that I'm bad at spellings. So I declared a variable with the wrong spelling, and I was calling it with the right spelling all over the place, and it was not working. So it was that simple struggle, but it's okay. I look back now, and at that point, it was so frustrating, and it was like my whole life was ending in that couple of days. But it's all right. What I could have done was called for help. My seniors, I could have called them and I'm like, can you take a look at my code? But I wanted to prove to them that, hey, I know what I'm doing. It's okay to not know things. It's okay to fail at something or be bad at something. Like I'm bad at spellings. My kid, she's awesome at spelling, and she teases me all the time. You're bad. You don't know spellings. That's all right. I'm a grown lady and I don't know spellings. I could have admitted to that, and I'm like, hey, can you help me look at what's wrong with my code? I would have solved this issue Friday night instead of coming back on Saturday, and the anxiety, the stress. So yes, There are ups, there are definitely downs. The important part is when you're in the downs, don't be alone and ask for help. Is,
Yeah.
curiosity, ask questions, but downs, ask for help.
Yeah, that's amazing. And you're so right. It's like, what do they say? Like, if you share a problem, you half the problem, right? So you
Yes,
get that kind of support. And sometimes you just need to take a step back as well, right? So
yes.
it's, you just need to take a breather and kind of go, you know what, I'll come back to this problem. Let me go for a walk. Let me go and grab a coffee. Let me just get away. And then,
I
it's like having that calm kind of approach again.
And sometimes I switch to something else, totally different. I'll come
Yeah.
back to this after a
Mm.
couple of days or something if it's not urgent. And
Yeah.
I tell my juniors, all the time, don't suffer in silence. Raise your hand. You know, give it a couple of hours, but don't suffer for days. Just few hours
Yeah.
is good enough. Don't suffer for more.
Yeah, I think that's great as a manager to have that kind of attitude, because what you're creating is a really open and, an environment where people can like be curious because they know that you're going to support them on that fact. So I think that's really amazing. Just talking about this, like, have you had mentors? Because obviously the juniors probably look to you as a mentor, right? So have you had mentors in your career and anyone that's been really inspiring for you?
Absolutely. I'm nothing without my mentors. Right outside during my first years, I had a couple of them who I'm still in connection with, and one mentor was my customer. I would consider him as my mentor because even though he was my customer, he was on the customer side. He was an architect on their end. If today, he was key to moving from my mindset from a developer to an architect. He basically showed me the way how I zoom out, right? As a developer, we are so obsessed with that particular story that you're trying to develop that you don't see what's happening around you, how that story affects other modules, other systems. He said, then, that's, he helped me understand to move from, hey, just ServiceNow. How is ServiceNow interacting with other systems in your business? And why are we doing this? And if we do this, how this will affect other systems? Like, how is Workday going to affect? How is SAP? How your Oracle systems are going to get affected? So I learned a lot from him about. So yes, mentorship is very, very important, and I advise everyone listening out there is try to. There will be one single person who's so open to helping you, not only helping, ready to share. There are certain personalities who are happy to share things. Hold on to them, and you can find inspiration around you. And with resources like these kind of podcasts and blogs out there, there are a lot of inspirations. You need to find the right people and get that mentorship, because you know what? That is something AI can't give you or books can't give you, is someone who has gone through an experience and is ready to share. That's invaluable. That's just absolutely priceless.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's true because you have mentors in not just the work but like family, and there are people like you aspire to be like, and
Yes.
you think, yeah, and just learning. Sometimes it's even learning like traits like what you describe, like big picture thinking, and it's like asking bigger questions, like how like, why are we doing this, what is the purpose of me writing this code, like what's it going to achieve. So yeah, I think it's incredible that you could just kind of sponge off everyone. So
Absolutely.
oh, that's amazing. So like for anyone that's kind of like starting their journey, their career, like what, like in service now, are there any key areas or skills that they should focus on, do you think, to help them develop their kind of career prospects and just basically stand out in the industry and the ecosystem?
To stand out, I would say, I know ServiceNow is moving to no code, low code approach, and they want to just promote that. And it's good. Definitely understand it, but understand what's happening in the background. Don't be afraid of looking at the JavaScript or the code portion of it, and even if you don't have to change it, right? It's good to understand how does it work, and especially big script includes, the huge 1,000 lines of code. It's good to understand how it goes. Oh, from here to here, debugging a code. Learn that. That skill is invaluable. That's what will help you stand out. Because if you're not scared of that, you're not scared of anything else in ServiceNow. Because that's the most difficult. So when I interview a person, I simply ask them to write a small 2, 3 lines of piece of code. Because if they're not hesitant to do that, they'll be able to learn
Yeah.
anything else. So yes,
Yeah.
to stand out and to progress to where this journey that I've taken, curiosity and understanding the business processes. Because you know what? Even as a developer, if you understand the business processes, you know what the end product is supposed to look like, and then you can design it more efficiently and more productive. Is what the whole thing that you're doing is more productive for the end customer.
Yeah. So, and how can someone learn about business processes? Like, where would they go to get this kind of information? Like, for
The
somebody that's
best
new.
way is to keep your ears out in a customer call and talk to your architect, the person, because usually as a developer you're not really, some of not most times you're not exposed to the customers directly. You are obviously interfacing with your architect, an architect who's giving you the story, and then you ask them, why are we doing this? What is the actual business process? What are we and always understand what the customer client is. The client name might not tell it. Go to Google, understand what they're doing. That is one place you can go and ask. Then obviously our architect. And when you are in a customer call, if you're not directly interacting with the customer, listen to what they are saying. What about the business processes? And as you progress, when you're able to talk to your customer, as I said, ask questions.
That's amazing. That's amazing advice. So wonderful. And for anyone that's like, what's your thoughts on like ServiceNow certifications? Like, which ones do you recommend people do? How important are they? What's your thoughts?
Oh, they are important. You might think, I know ServiceNow, but what happens when a customer is trying to hire you as a perspective on that project? There's no way of knowing how do you know it, right? And ServiceNow certifications are legit. They are not some of those certifications out there in other products. Sometimes, it's, hey, it's easy to just go ahead and just, there's a set of dumps of questions out there. No, they really test your skill set. And I truly believe that having regular certifications, I know in the beginning, I would recommend the certified system admin, that's called a CSA. Definitely do that within the first year or two of your ServiceNow journey, and then move on to CAD, which is the certified application developer, where it takes you from just configuration to customization and coding. And then you have the CIS. That's basically, I don't know the full form, but they're product based mainline certifications. Obviously do ITSM, because everything is ITSM in the beginning, and then it spans out. And then you can go on to every product like CSM, HR, and stuff. But definitely CSA and CAD is a must have for anyone who's starting in the first 2, 3 years of their ServiceNow journey, to have those. And every now and then, go for training, refresh your knowledge, talk to your organization about the importance of it, because I know there are certain people who will be like, it's okay, they're expensive stuff. It's important to invest. Talk to and the more people ask, more developers ask for this, I think the management would have to relent. So
Yeah, no, that's very good. And you know what? Also, it's really good because it gives you a foundation level, right? It's like if you've done the theory behind it, when you go to do the practical, it makes it much easier for you because you understand the foundation, right?
also, and ServiceNow has such good resources for self-learning tools out there, and especially like you can spin up a developer instance in a matter of few minutes and start looking under the hood. Hey, this new product is there. No one is going to stop you from going and installing that product, turning it on in that particular instance. No cost associated. That's the power of ServiceNow, I feel, because they are
Yeah.
encouraging you to learn. Go ahead and learn. We just have to do it.
Yeah, that's really good. And it's really interesting that you raised that point because like ServiceNow, as well as any other tech stack, it's always evolving, right? And but particularly ServiceNow, it's an always evolving
Oh, yeah.
platform with new features, new updates. So how can people stay up to date? What would you recommend?
It's tough. Trust me, there are times when I'm like, what was the feature? When was this added? So it is tough because ServiceNow is expanding and growing so much, but they have amazing resources online. So what I usually do is try to read the notes, especially they have these emails, the notification that comes up from as part because you're part of the either partner portal or you're part of the Now Learning community. So read those emails. It's worth it. They're just quick tidbits about the new features they do, especially release features. And you know what I really like is deltas. I hate people say they hate deltas. Deltas are basically the mainline certifications. You have to go through that open book test kind of a thing, to renew it, right? So in the beginning, like everyone, I hated it. I'm like, my boss is like, do the deltas, make sure you don't lose your certification. I'm like, but you know indulge it. I indulged one delta, like a little bit. Instead of simply just control C, paste, copy paste, or doing a control F and searching what's happening out there, I literally read the release notes and I'm like, this is a nice feature. So deltas, so I realized why ServiceNow is forcing us to do deltas. They're forcing us to see what are the new features out there. So that's a good, so yeah, try to see why they're doing it. There's a reason for it. So that's one of the ways I do is deltas, and there are so many good videos out there. Especially and bloggers and helpers and amazing community of ServiceNow developers out there who have such great thing. And the best part is asking a question in the community. Immediately I get answers in ServiceNow community. So that's another place where I read other people's blogs in the community, and I realize what they're doing, and it's very helpful. So yeah,
Yeah. No. Yeah, that's amazing. And that's the one thing that I have to say about the ServiceNow community is that everybody is so, yeah, it's just ready to like help
I
and
love it.
like you say, yeah, it's amazing, isn't
I
it? Like
love it.
you put out a question and a few minutes later it's like you've got the answer that you were like looking
I'm
for.
not
So,
alone. Even though I'm sitting in my house alone, I'm not alone. It's like that. It's an
yeah.
amazing community out there.
Yeah, that's amazing. So yeah, amazing. I was gonna say to you, like, because obviously you're so confident, you're so bubbly, you come across amazing, and obviously the role that you do as well at the moment, where you're really big picture and you're speaking to businesses, like, it's like I have this all the time. I'll have moments where I think, oh my god, like just insecurity and
Yeah.
how do you remain like confident? How do you kind of overcome this? You've got a big presentation or a big client to meet. Like, how do you prepare to make sure you are you and do a great job?
First of all, I try to prep beforehand. I never go if there is a meeting or a presentation. I know I just don't wing it. Is what I say. There are times when you have to wing it, but if I know it is in advance, I spend time, a downtime where I set and like, okay, to understand what I'm not spewing out nonsense, right? I need to know what I'm speaking about. So I do research. I truly believe in research is an important part of every aspect of work. Like we can't just simply say, you have a problem? Yeah, I have a solution. Sometimes you have a solution right in there because you have already encountered such a problem in the past life or whatever. But sometimes it's absolutely new. And it's one of the things that you should tell is it's okay. You can't know everything and it's all right. So what the trick of the trade is, I'll get back to you on that. That's the trick of the trade. And
Yeah.
when you get back, have the points ready, not just, you know, okay, I'll wing it. No, prep work is absolutely important. for any being that, and that gives you the confidence because you have the data to back up, you have your preparation to back up. You are not going with when you go with that, you have the confidence automatically comes. It's nothing that's what I do, because when you prepare, you get the confidence to do it.
Yeah. That's incredible. And you know what? You're so right. It's like whenever you're prepared, it gives you that sense of confidence because then you're like, you know what? I've got the answers. I understand what I'm talking about. And, and then it gives the other party confidence as well in you because they're
Yes.
like, oh, like I believe what you're saying, it's like I trust what you're saying as well. So it builds trust as well. So
You come off genuine
yeah.
because you genuinely
Mm.
have done the work, and nothing is a substitute for hard work or preparation or research. No, nothing is going to replace that.
Yeah, that's incredible. So yeah, I love that. So, I was gonna say, like, it's you're so humble, right? You're so down to earth. And I remember like our meetings before and I was like came off the call, I was like, oh wow, and she's my new best friend. I love her. It's like so much fun. So obviously you are in a very kind of like senior position at the moment, in a very important position as well. Like, how do you stay humble? Like, how do you stay grounded whilst you've kind of got all this success that you have had?
Well, I'm not showing a lot of humility if I'm telling I'm the most humble person. I'm not going to do that. but but I have developed this habit of looking in out in the room of people and finding that one person who knows much more than I and I'm like, yeah, there's a sea of knowledge out there, much more where I can learn, and that sort of keeps me grounded because I know that I know a drop in the ocean of whatever it is, ServiceNow or life or beyond. There is an ocean or a universe out there to learn more, and you will always find maybe in your meeting, you're in your team. There's always this one person who would know more than you. Look up to that person and try to tap into that knowledge and expand it, and that thirst to learn more will keep you grounded and not really think about, hey, I know this, hey, I know that. Yeah, I know it, but
Yeah.
there is so much more to learn more. So yeah, that's how I keep myself. I'm like, yeah, stay where you are, girl.
Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, and you're so right, and I think that's such a amazing like trait of yours is that even at a senior level, it's like you would treat like the juniors. Like I can learn something from
Oh, you
you, and
learn more things from the juniors, especially how to work on Instagram. Like, I didn't know what is Instagram. Especially I learned so many things from my child that there's
yeah,
all, and even any person you meet with, there's knowledge to
yeah.
soak it up is what I can say.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's brilliant. And, just kind of reflecting on your own career journey, what advice would you give young ServiceNow professionals, who are aspiring to enter the ServiceNow industry and want to achieve similar path to yourself?
As I said, curiosity, learn, hard work, nothing is going to replace that, and be humble.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So yeah, brilliant. So look, my final question. Okay, I don't know if you've seen Back to the Future, the movie, but if you could go back, if you could travel in a time machine and go back and talk to your 21-year-old self, what advice would you give her?
Oh, I would ask her to travel. Go ahead,
Oh, yeah.
travel, have new experiences, and never put away time to say there's more time later. There's more time to come. No, there's no time like now. Do it now. I would tell her that.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Did you travel much yourself
Not
or
really.
is
That's
that
why I'm
what?
saying. That's one regret I have because life
Yeah.
came in the way. I want to travel now. I keep making plans. Hopefully, I get to do that in future. So,
Yeah, absolutely. Well, look, it's been amazing to have you on. Your insights have been amazing. And honestly, it's been so wonderful to talk to you. So thank you so much.
thank you so much, Farah. It was an amazing experience. This is wonderful.
Thank you so much.